Mocha family, welcome back to another day in my 21-day fast. This is day 12 for me, but I'm here to report on day 11. So if this is your first time watching these videos, please be sure to watch the first video where I explain the parameters of my fast, what my beginning weight are, and what my goals are. So it's a spiritual fast. My goal is to get closer to the Lord, and I'm sharing this with you in detail because I don't think people really promote water fasting or giving up food as much as they did when I was growing up. And I've talked to people that are somewhat afraid to fast because they don't know if they'll be able to function, and they're concerned about the symptoms that they're going to experience. So I thought it would be good to come and just report daily exactly what I'm experiencing. I will say that I do practice a lifestyle of intermittent fasting. I eat on a 20-40 window, meaning that I fast for 20 hours a day. This includes sleeping overnight. And then I eat my 2 meals in a 4-hour window. I have a video on that if you're interested. So I feel like my body may be a little bit more adjusted to fasting because I'm already practicing denying myself as a lifestyle. It's really for health benefits, and I've been healed of so many things. It's been awesome. I love it. So check out those videos if you're interested about that. But that's not what this is. This is a spiritual fast. And so I want to share also those experiences with you. But first, on the physical side, when I got on the scale on day 11, which is what I'm reporting on today, I weighed 139.4 pounds. This morning on day 12, I weigh 137 even, okay, which is my ideal body weight. All the back fat is gone, okay, and everything is toned. My belly is completely flat. This is the weight that I was at age 30, and in my fitness journey, this is the weight that I've always strived to be. But honestly, I don't mind myself in the 140s. I like the curves that I have. Like, I could get rid of the back fat, but I like the curves that I have. I like how I look, and it seems like without an extreme amount of exercise, it seems like at this age, I'm 46 and I'm 5'6". For reference, it seems like at this age, my body prefers to be in the 140. So I think my goal maybe should shift from wanting to be in the 130s to maybe in the early to mid 140s, I think is a comfortable range for me. And I'm talking about a range because I don't know if you know, but I've weighed myself enough to realize that you don't stay just one weight all day long. Your weight fluctuates. So that's why I'm saying range. Okay. And so let's get into it. Yesterday was a great day, you guys. I started off with that insomnia I experienced the night before. And so I was up early working. I was concerned that I would be really tired, but that didn't happen. I felt great. In the morning, like around 11 o'clock, I promised to take my daughter to the mall because she was meeting her friends there. I still wasn't done with my reading. And so I had to go to Barnes and Noble's with my book. And I finished. It was awesome. I don't know why I don't do that more often. I found a padded seating area, and even though there were a lot of people milling around, I was able to get through my work and I felt wonderful. The only drawback was the smells coming from Starbucks, but I'm not a Starbucks girl. I'm a Wawa girl, so I was able to cope. But coffee is coffee, you guys. But oddly, I will say that I thought I would miss coffee a lot more on this fast, but I haven't thought about coffee a lot at all. Not a lot. I haven't thought about it at all. In fact, I've thought about food. I've had images of food going through my mind, but I haven't really missed having coffee. Maybe because I had gotten to a point where I was overdoing it so much, I was ready to just give it up for a while to give my body a chance to cleanse from all of that. So yesterday, I talked about an event that we had to go that was going to run late into the night. And that event is called the Millennial Fire Conference, which is a young adult conference. People in their early to mid 20s. I have a real passion, and so does my husband. We both have a real passion for this age group. We feel like the Lord really set us on our spiritual journey to grow closer to Him and to be completely submitted to a lifestyle of living for the Lord at that age. And so we really love pouring that back into young adults. And also, honestly, inside, I still feel like a young adult. It's like I walk past the mirror and have to do like a double take and realize that no, you're middle age, but I feel like a young adult. So I easily connect with them. And I remember the struggles that they have and the ambitions that they have. And so I love that age group. And so last night was the service. It started at 7. And like I told you, I wasn't home until around midnight. And it started to snow, which is the snow that's going on outside, which is why I have this hat on my head, because it's cold. I'm cold. I'm cold just looking. It's gorgeous, but I'm cold just looking at it. And they shut down church this morning. It's Sunday morning. They shut down church because they don't do a good job with the snow removal here in Delaware. Even though it's only maybe several inches of snow, it's really not safe out there. And so, I'm enjoying it. But at the conference last night, it was incredible, you guys. I was really concerned. I won't say I have low energy, but I'm not as fit as I am when I'm not fasting. There is a sacrificial aspect to fasting. Even though Jesus, was fully man, and I believe he was also fully God, but he submitted himself to our struggles. When he fasted for 40 days, it physically affected him to the extent that after Satan tempted him, the Bible talks about how angels came to minister to him. And I think they ministered to him physically, because it does take a toll on your body. So I acknowledge that this is what I'm getting myself into. So I was concerned about worship and how I would participate in worship. I like to dance. I like to sing exuberantly. All of that takes a lot of energy. And I noticed that sometimes I feel a little bit short of breath when I put out too much. And so, God reminded me, though, that I'm practicing being still in His presence. And so I made up my mind that I would find a place outside, not outside, but off to the side where nobody would step on me. And I would lay before the Lord during worship and just try to relish it all. But you guys, I was not prepared for what actually happened to me. I got on the floor. I was a little self-conscious that everything looked okay because I was on my face. Everything was fully covered and proper. And so I went back to my chair and I got my coat. I was wearing an ankle length puff coat. I don't play. Obviously, I don't play in this weather, okay? And so I put the coat over my body and I pulled it up halfway up on my face. Since it was a little bit chilly in the room also, that also helped me to be toasty and comfortable. And I just lay there. And you guys, the team that led worship is not a team that usually works together. My son and Drew, his friend, I think we talked about him on the Christmas video. He just released an album called Melody of Love. His voice is gorgeous. The two of them led worship. And you guys, I honestly believe we entered into God's presence on the first song. And I mean, I'm not saying this doesn't happen for people, but I usually have a hard time. Like, I have so much going on in my life and I have so much going on in my mind that honestly, it takes a couple of songs before I could just focus. You know what I'm saying? But last night, as I lay on the floor, I really felt that instant connection. And I told you guys in the video yesterday that I like to use my imagination during worship. I like to imagine what I'm singing about. I like to imagine, you know, God's throne room and Him. And, you know, there's a lot of metaphors in the Bible, and I like to bring them to life in my imagination. And so I lay there, and suddenly I started having images like come into my mind. And, you know, I saw this bride, and, you know, she was really confident and strong looking, but also very humble. And she looked like she was being led and paraded around. And, you know, the person that was parading her around, I knew that it was Jesus. And, you know, he just looked so glorious. And, but he was parading her around as though she was something special. And in the Bible, it talks about how the church, us, we the believers, are the bride of Christ. And he's a bridegroom coming back for his bride. You know, this intimate relationship that Jesus wants with his people. And with the images that I was seeing were the actualization of that. And so I was just caught away at how amazing that was, and how she looked, and the implications that that's me, and, you know, how God sees me, and he's parading me around. And so he's delighting in me, which is ironic because my son gave the message at the conference last night, and I didn't know he would be teaching. I found out he would be teaching right before we left for the meeting. And you know, he talked on the fact that God delights in us. He took a passage out of Isaiah. You know, I like to think of it as the Hephzibah passage, where it talks about how God, you know, delights in us. And my husband is right outside the door while I'm recording the video, scraping the ice. I hope you guys can't hear that. Right outside the door, scraping the ice. But anyway, I just gotta flow. And so, you know, I'm lost in this vision, because that's really what it was. And I felt like I was being taken out of myself. And it's really hard, you guys, to find the right words to describe this. Okay. I really felt like I was being taken out of myself. I mean, I was aware of the music. I was enjoying the music, but I lost track of the lyrics, you know, but I was very aware of God's presence. Okay. And when I have vision, sometimes it's more than just what I see. Like, I feel like God downloads things into me, and sometimes I can understand and register what he's downloading, and other times it just develops and I have further understanding. And so yesterday I felt like I was getting a lot of input that needed to be developed, but I was feeling strengthened by it. Okay. So I really lost track of time. You know, I feel like a lot of songs went by, and they take their time singing each song. Okay. And I feel like a lot of songs went by, because this is a worship service that can go on for at least an hour. The worship part can go on for at least an hour. And so I feel like a lot of songs went by. I don't know if I dozed off, but suddenly I just came back to myself, and I felt really refreshed, like someone that had taken a long nap, you know, or even a full night's sleep. I mean, I did have green tea before we went to the service, but I still felt a little tired when I got there. After that, I felt strong. I felt awake, and my spiritual senses, you know, kind of like your spidey senses, but my spiritual senses were like tingling, literally, you know, and I just felt like, yes, yes, yes. You know, I wanted to jump up. I wanted to jump up and down. I wanted to run around the room. You know, I was violently agreeing with something in my spirit that I didn't quite know or understand yet. And so, you know, after that, I stood up, I got back. I think I didn't sit up, stand up. I think I sat up and I continued to worship. And it's so funny how we're still human in these moments, because I remember thinking, oh man, I could feel some, you know how you lay down on a textured surface and then you get up and it's imprinted on your face? And I could feel like something was imprinted on my face, but I was like, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. I have all these locks. I'm just going to move them across my face. But I was really strengthened through that experience. And I felt really receptive. And so when the Lord gave me a word of encouragement for the assembly, I got up there and I gave it, and it led into a really powerful prayer. It was awesome, you guys. And that is the reason why I do this. That is the reason why I'm putting myself through a fast like this. I know from past experience that I will be blessed and strengthened from whatever was deposited in me, and sometimes for years after the actual experience. So if you want to know, why the Lord has blessed me so much, it's not because there's anything special about me, but I just try to avail myself to these moments where he can deal with me, where he can work with me. And the Bible talks about how he's looking around, trying to find who he could bless, trying to find who he can show himself strong with. If you take even a half step toward him, he will meet you there, and do more than you can imagine with you. And so I'm a witness of this, you guys. That's why I'm sharing this fasting with you, just to encourage you. If God is leading you to do it, to step out and do it. So that's it, you guys. That's all I have for you today. I will definitely be back tomorrow to share with you what day 12 was like. And so day 11 was my 4th day without food. So I feel like I'm starting to coast now. I still want to eat, but I don't feel driven to eat like I have for the past few days before. I can take it or leave it and I'm good. I'm not saying I want to sit in in my favorite restaurant and smell the smells and not eat, but I'm not tormented by the fact that I'm not eating, and I'm not dreading the fact that I won't eat in a long time. So leave your comments for me down below. See you tomorrow. Be blessed.